Welcome, race fans, to an ORL special report. I'm Darkstar072, and I'm here to give you the details. Yesterday, we hosted a tournament in which the participants competed for the 4 open spots in the league's Divisions 1 and 2. 6 drivers participated. Not as big a turnout as we hoped for, but the competition was fierce nonetheless. Now, the competitors were NJD1, JDog0604, KSI Beastly Ski, POW Psychic, Preds3, and SP Cyber Monkey. Now, as we announced earlier this week, the first race was on Outlaw Motor Speedway, and as expected, the extremely difficult jump on this track quickly separated the more skilled drivers from the pack. Let's take a look at that film. Now, Outlaw Motor Speedway would best be described as a hybrid track between a super speedway, a Grand Prix, with a little touch of supercross. Now, here comes that jump I was talking about. If drivers don't manage their speed perfectly on this turn, they will case this jump every time, and generally the results are devastating, as J-Dog just found out right there. Now, this is the more Grand Prix-like section of the track. If drivers don't have the patience to let off the gas, they're going to go into the wall every time. And they generally get pinned against the wall and trolled by the drivers behind them. Now, this bank here is very reminiscent of a supercross bank. You can keep a lot of speed on it, but if you ride it too high, you will fly straight off the track. KSI Beastly Ski finished 3rd with 6 points in this race. Solid finish for a solid driver. Definitely he was in the heat of the competition for most of this race. Now here's J-Dog. He had one hell of a race. After a terrible first half, he raced like a demon and wound up finishing in 2nd place, earning himself 7 points for the tournament. Preds3, not his best showing in this race. Finished 5th with 4 points. But like a true competitor, he stays on the track and he keeps pushing all the way through the race. Drivers who keep driving and push hard even when all seems lost earn my respect. Now, NJD raced his ass off in this race and he took 1st place. He mastered that jump. Clearly he practiced. His results were phenomenal. Now, SP Cyber Monkey finished 6th, and for some strange reason after this race, he was saying something about his eyes, and he had to take his medication, and he dropped out of the tournament. That was kind of a bummer for all of us. Now, POW Psychic finished 4th and took himself 5 points for the tournament. Definitely a strong competitor, and we'll see how things play out in the next race. Here's the finish. NJD1 celebrates by wasting some pistol ammo. Alright. Now that was one hell of a race, guys. Race number 2 was on Quarry Super Speedway. This track is a hybrid off-road super speedway track. The super speedway section is very smooth, fairly simple, and very fast. The off-road section is extremely complicated. Lots of extremely tight turns, crazy bumps that will flip you over without thought. And as the competition heats up, let's take a look at that film.
Lost the lead.
Now, we announced Quarry Super Speedway in the original news clip where we announced this tournament. We definitely wanted to give drivers a chance to practice this one. In the ORL, practicing the tracks goes a long way. A lot of them are very difficult, and without practice, most drivers tend to fail pretty miserably. Through this section, a lot of these guys didn't give each other space, and if you're rubbing wheels with people through that section, you're going to both wind up against a wall and face down in the dirt. this was a good competitive race. These drivers raced hard. For the most part, they raced clean. See right there, J-Dog out with a comfortable lead. He's found the good line across that shortcut jump. If you take the right line there, you can keep an amazing amount of speed through that section. And it looks like he's got it pretty well down. Now he's going to wind up holding on to this lead for the entire race. At this point in the tournament, the skilled drivers are definitely starting to rise to the top. Now here's POW Psychic, finished 4th in this race. We'll just call him Steady Eddie. He never shined too brightly, but he never really failed that hard either. Now KSI Beasley Ski finished third place again, earning himself 6 more points for the tournament. A good solid overall driver. Now here's J-Dog. Took 1st place here, earned himself 8 points. Starting to distinguish himself as one of the better drivers in this tournament. Now here's Preds 3. He took 5th in this one. Not his best race, but a solid competitor. Even though he was way behind, he kept pushing hard. Now NJD1 took 2nd place in this race. And it's starting to look like NJD1 and J-Dog are going to be the top drivers in this tournament. The finish. No flashy celebration from J-Dog. He gets it done and waits for the next race. Now, with 2 races finished, there's 1 more to go. And we did not announce this track. The drivers all thought they would do 2 races and that would be it. But we decided to test these guys' ability to adapt and learn a new track they'd never raced before. So we threw Audacity SX at them and let them have their way with it. This Supercross track, one of the fastest Supercross tracks I've ever raced, but it flows beautifully. J-Dog takes an early lead, and as you'll see, he never lets go of it. J-Dog has a lot of Supercross experience. He makes Supercross tracks himself, so he definitely knows the finer points of Supercross racing. This track was pretty cruel to some of the other competitors. Several drivers had major problems on it. Now, we gave them 3 practice laps before the actual race to give them a chance to get used to it. But 3 laps on a Supercross track like this really is not enough to master it and learn its subtle intricacies. As you can see there, J-Dog in pink has a commanding lead, which he pretty much just builds on the entire race. A lot of you may have seen this track on Duquesne 23's channel a few weeks ago. He reviewed it, and he gave it an excellent review. But some of the drivers in this game, I think, would take issue with that review, because they definitely had a hard time with it. But not J-Dog. Now, POW Psychic finished 5th in this race. He had a terrible time on this track. He got screwed over several times by some of the jumps. Never really found a line on this track that worked for him. This jump right here was his nemesis. He lost his mongoose there on the first lap and fell way behind early. Now, KSI Beasley Ski finished 4th. Total 17 points for the tournament. Never really distinguished himself, but never really failed too hard either. I'm curious to see how this guy is going to do in the ORL. J-Dog killed this track. Won the second 2 races back-to-back, finishing with 23 points total. He's our leader for this tournament so far. Preds 3 with a solid 2nd place finish. Didn't do great on this track, but managed to keep himself out of trouble better than most of the other drivers. JD finished third. 21 points total for the tournament. Definitely a solid driver. And we'll be looking forward to racing with him in the ORL. And here's the finish. J-Dog. Again, no fancy celebration. He got it done. Alright guys, well it's been one hell of a tournament today. Final results were J-Dog with 23 points, NJD with 21, Beastly Ski with 17, Preds 3 with 15, and POW Psychic with 14. Unfortunately, POW Psychic won't make it into the league through this tournament. He does, however, have first priority on our waiting list. So if another driver drops out, we will be seeing more of POW Psychic on the track. That's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. Darkstar out.